hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Big Porky here, the ruthless voice of hardcore boxing. Isn't that right, Robert Smith? I'm ruthless, more ruthless than you will ever be. I want to know from Robert Smith, aka Smithy. I want to know from Smithy, in his 15 year at the helm of this ship called the British Boxing Board of No Control, I want to know what Smithy Marky would give himself out of 10 for his performance over 15 years as the main man at the British Boxing Board of No Control. What would you give yourself, Robert Smith, out of 10 for your last 15 years at the helm? What would you, eh? 15 years in power. Look at the state it's in. Hey, look at the mess with these YouTubers. All this drug testing, it's a joke. B samples missing left, right, and centre. Dylan White's B sample, Tete's B sample, 2 Conor Benn B samples. Dominic Ingle had 3 fighters from his gym fail performance enhancing drugs in recent times. If he has a 4th test failure, are you going to act on that, Smith? Because if this were football, Smithy, the FA would be down on Fergie, wouldn't they now, and sack him at Man United if he'd have had three players failing dope tests. Wouldn't he be down the road, wouldn't he? Eh? So what's the difference in boxing? Eh? Why have you not gone down to Sim's gym and tested every fighter in there? Did they go up to Ingle gym and test everybody? Hey, man, they did. They got caught 3 of them, but we don't hear about this, do we? You know, and now we're here with Smith's don't want to comment on this Conor Benn situation. Hey? You don't want to comment. They're saying Conor Benn's not been forthright with all paperwork and that. Well, what about your lot? You're in knee deep in it with them, aren't you? Hey? Robert Smith, you're going to be doing your best for them now because you're in deep. Hey? The Boxing Board of Control were in deep with these drug tests, weren't they? Hey? They only pulled plug at last minute when the Daily Mail exposed the drug test. Hey? They only pulled plug then, didn't you, Robert Smith? You were going to do an Oscar Rivers Dylan White job, weren't you? I want to know why you're still in power after 15 years when it's obvious the sport's heading for Skid Row. The buck stops with you. Just like with Boris Johnson. Everybody were up in arms, he had to go. Everybody in boxing is up in arms, you've got to go. You've been taking licenses off trainers for training white collar, and then you've got all this messy with this misfits. Hey? Everybody and the dad were there at that show and helping these white collars. Are you going to penalise everybody? You penalised Ryan Rollinson, didn't you? You were threatening Chris Smedley. Hey? What is it? 1 rule for 1? Robert W. Smith? Is that what it is? Mr. Ex-amateur, ex-pro boxer, ex-trainer and all that? Hey? The Smiths have had their hand in the cookie jar years. Isn't that right, Smithy? Hey? Jesus. Go get a job. Instead of pouncing and living out of boxing because you couldn't fight. We all know what's going on, Robert Smith. You're weak. Look what you did with Ian John Lewis. You got rid of him, didn't you, as a scapegoat? But all the lot of you are useless. The lot of you are useless. Why don't you give Gary Sykes his belt? You know he defended it 3 times. You say this is what I say, right? It's either corruption or incompetence. Now, the boards say they're not corrupt. Well, they must be incompetent then, because the sport is in disarray. The sport is in disarray. It's a joke. It's in disarray, Robert. And it's on your watch. So you've got to fall on your sword and resign. You've got to go now while you've got some credibility. Why are you hanging around like a bad smell? You're hanging around like a bad smell. That's what you're doing, Robert Smith. You're hanging around like a bad smell. You're knee deep in this, and you know what I'm on about. Knee deep in it. You've got to go now. It's a joke. You've become a joke. You've made the British boxing fans a laughing stock in other countries, and that's what I'm more bothered about. Them Yanks laughing at us and them Germans laughing at our scorecards. Laughing. They think we're clowns. They think we're clowns. We've got judges and referees who can't count to 10. Anyway, I've said my bit on Robert Smith. He's got to go. Can somebody get a petition whacked up and we'll get it shared about amongst some famous people? We need 100,000 signatures. Anybody who's got my WhatsApp out there, send me a link to my WhatsApp with Robert Smith out of the British Boxing Board of Control, and I'll share it to death till we get 100,000. He's got to go. It's killing the sport. UFC and MMA are taking over combat sports. Boxing's a joke. We're jokers. We are utter jokers. All right? Robert Smith's the main man at the British Boxing Board of Control. I want to know one question. I want to ask you one question. What mark would he give himself for his performance over 15 years? Well, what? Because you don't even reply your emails, do you, Robert Smith? Go on, get gone. Peace out.
Porky's Corner is proud to be sponsored by Spartan Site Solutions. They are specialists in civil engineering and demolition contracts for the construction industry. Interested parties should visit their website or contact Porky's Corner for a referral at porkycorner@mail.com.